Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome inside the loft. I am feeling profoundly overwhelmed today. I received news about 4 or 5 days ago. A childhood friend of mine passed away, had taken his own life, and lost his battle with depression. Just a few short years ago, I had a chance to help him and his family find a home when I was doing real estate. And it had been the first time in a while we had connected since being kids. You see, we were raised in a trailer park together. We were direct neighbors, and I can remember sitting back on the porch when we were kids, and he would say things to me like, when I get out of here, or when I'm older. And you could tell in his mind and in his heart that something didn't sit right, and that he was hoping when he got older and when he got out, things would change. And of course, as a small child, I didn't put a ton of thought into that. I mean, how could you, or why would you? You know, we were both battling similar things. Our family lives were in chaos. There's a lot of fighting. There was a lot of disjointed interaction. And a lot of times the bulk of the interaction we got was with each other, the kids in the neighborhood. So fast forward, we're helping him buy a house, him and his family buy a house. And he really had, put together a beautiful family, a really loving wife, someone who was solid and very caring and very loving. They had several children together, all who were, for all intents and purposes, really doing quite better than we did as children. And he'd really started providing a safe, and he wanted such a healthy environment for his kids. He wanted to buy a house in a specific school district so that they had access to the best school systems, the best that was available to them. And that to me really hit me hard. Like, you will pay the extra tax bill, you will go the extra mile, you will wait a little bit longer to make sure your home is in the right place for your kids so they have access to something you didn't when you were older. And at one of the showings, I think maybe his wife was working, I don't remember, but he had said to me, like, I didn't expect you to turn out like this. I'm not sure exactly what house or whatever, but since hearing the news of him passing, I've been sitting with that. I didn't expect you to turn out like this. And I thought, well, what did he mean? How did I turn out? And then I recalled he said something to the effect of, I didn't know, I can't even remember exactly how I said it, but something to the effect of, I didn't know you'd figure it out. And I really had no idea what he was talking about. What did I figure out that he didn't know I would? Maybe he didn't even know what there was to figure out, but I've been sitting with those words the last couple days, and I think I know what he meant. I think he meant, how did you make it out of that trailer park, out of that family, and still hold your head so high and think so positively about life and still continue to create despite what was in your way? And the truth is, I don't really know. I don't really know what allows me to do that, but I do come from a life of chaos. I think early on there was a lot of neural mapping for me that knew a lot of things were unsafe, that knew a lot of things were unstable, and I had to do a lot of juggling when I was a child. So I think that really set the framework for the type of cognition I was going to have, and the ability to, hold a lot of threads and to be able to look for the patterns for clarity, because clarity wasn't coming from my family. And as I look back, I really think that's what he meant. Like, how did you figure it out? How did you get out of the mess? Because I didn't become a drug addict. I didn't become an alcoholic. I didn't become another parent willing to enter the generational train of passing on my trauma to my children because I couldn't figure it out. And it's taken several years, and I failed many times over and over again, but I'm working my way out, and I'm working on my own framework that helps me stay on track and helps me offer my children something to ground them while they, grow up in this very complex world that we have today. So as I think about the loss of this childhood friend, I'm forced to reflect on society, because he lost his battle with depression and honestly probably anxiety, and probably a lot of things inside his head, inside the mental isolation that was his cognition, that told him it won't matter what you do. It won't matter how hard you try. It won't matter how hard you work. You'll never get there. Because I think in some senses, where was he going? Did he know? Was he ever able to see through the fog clear enough to know there was a path out? And that's really my heart. That is my heart. To speak to people who are in the fog, children or adults, that maybe don't know there's a path out. And if they know there's a path out, they can't see it. And all I want to do is offer my framework on how I see when the fog is in thick and how I function when everything goes to hell. And how the more you use these frameworks, the less going to hell things go. And that's really why I'm very, very, very touched by our Co-Creation Coloring Storybooks. So we started with a graphic novel for The Adventures of Zuki in the Mystery Forest. And that book was a lot of me processing a lot of different things that happened over the last 35 years. Things I'm conscious of, things I'm not conscious of. And I will tell you, I didn't even realize I was processing it. That's why I truly love writing. I don't love writing to be some formal author that gives my perspective for the world to read and take my word for it. I'm not a crazy person trying to look for validation through my own writing. I'm looking to share my lens. I don't think you're crazy if you're looking to share your own thoughts. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Nobody get mad. It's hard to process in real time sometimes. But all I want to do is share my lens and see what you see through it. Share my framework and offer a starting place for people who don't know where to begin. And that's what these co-creation coloring books have really become. Now, the book is a great framework and a complete framework. It takes you through Zuki's journey from the morning when things were off all the way to the end of the journey and how it resolves. But the co-creation coloring book is an invitation. It's an invitation to take that story and metabolize it. To take that story and to break it down into what does this mean and what does it mean to me? How can I see me through this? How can I digest what information I have to process? What frameworks will help me get to the next step so that I don't stay lost in the fog forever? And for a lot of parents who are still walking in the fog, we're looking for ways to transfer that clarity to our children. And without the proper framework and without the proper understanding, sometimes it's confusing and it just adds another layer to the fog. But these co-creation coloring books are doing something that is even shocking me. And I created them. I sat down with my daughter Nova the other day. She loves the coloring storybook. She just loves them. She loves the story. She loves the coloring. She loves to talk. My little girl loves to talk. And we read a page out of it. And here I'll drop a small clip of it here really quick for you to watch. I wonder about the queen, like what it means when it says her pain left unhealed turned her cruel. What do you think that means?
I don't actually know.
Huh. If someone's pain was left unhealed, what do you think would happen to a person?
I don't really know.
Have you ever been in pain before?
I've been in pain since Isaiah wouldn't play with me, and he would pinky promise.
Oh.
Pinky, as I should have just said, we don't have to play. Because you know what boys do? Lie. Don't want to play. All I want to do is play video games all day and talk to their friends.
And as you can notice while you're watching that video, I don't do a lot of straight on talking to Nova. I want her to feel very disarmed, that we're just talking, that we're recording for content. We're just trying to watch the interaction. We're trying to see what these things really do. And we were working on a page where the queen, the evil villain of the storybook, is having her story told and reflected through the originators of the Mystery Forest. And it talks about the sustained pain she was in before she cursed the forest. And I didn't expect it, but Nova actually brought up a pain that I wasn't aware of. And I don't think I even interacted with that revelation properly. It's taken me days to reflect on what she said and the follow-up conversations we're going to have. And I think that can be very normal when you're having a conversation and your child brings up something that you didn't expect them to say, or you're not even expecting to have to deal with right there. And that's what's really cool about the coloring books, is because it's a very non-threatening way to engage with your child that feels like play. It feels like engagement. They're getting that one-on-one time with you that they crave so desperately. So I encourage you to always get a coloring storybook along with them, color with them, sit next to them, explore the pages. What page did they pick today? What page did you pick today? Talk about that, starting points. I'm going to create a framework of prompts you can use in different pages to discuss different topics with your children that they might be struggling with. But when Nova did that, when she revealed that, I realized this is more important than I ever imagined. This is so important that we understand the perspective our children are living, the things we can't see inside their head, that we have no idea they're there, that we are just walking right past every single day, that are forming their thoughts and their beliefs about themselves, that they may be picking up false beliefs because they've been living in this perception, especially in isolation, without it being corrected or even discussed and even processed. So maybe it's not wrong, but it's unprocessed. And I truly believe the more we spend time processing our thoughts, the more we can extract the nutrients and expel the waste and really get to a place of clarity. And it takes the work of processing those thoughts to receive the gift of clarity, but it's absolutely crucial. And I can't think of a better time than today, where the childhood depression rates are on the rise, anxiety is on the rise, ADHD is just rampant, and kids are just honestly feeling lost. They're engaged with so much high volume like frequency from YouTube, and they're just inundated with all of these things, AI, and there's almost nothing stopping the flow of what's coming at them, while the void of how much time they get interacting with their parents is getting bigger and bigger. So I didn't know these co-creation coloring books were going to change the way I looked at the entire Discovery Loft. I didn't know they were going to change the way I look at my interactions with my children. I didn't know they were going to change the way other people could process trauma and grief and get past them. So, in honor of my late friend who did not beat his battle with depression, I am going to be giving away a co-creation coloring book combo pack to a family in need. And if you would like to recommend a family specifically who could benefit from these tools, from the graphic novel and the coloring book, to help them process and digest trauma or grief that they might be going through, please reach out to me and give me your recommendations. And then over the next month, we'll be going through those recommendations, and we will be gifting one of those bundles to a family in need. So thank you for hanging with me. That was a long-winded video today. I'm definitely still processing a lot of this information. And what you'll find is that at the Loft, we're not going to wait for perfection. We are going to write, we are going to tell stories, we are going to excavate our thoughts, and we are going to explore things, and we are going to build. We are going to build today what we are capable of building today, and that's what we want to ignite the inspiration upon the young people and adults alike, that you don't have to wait for perfection to build, that you don't have to wait for your whole life to change, that the actual starting of the process is what changes it. The actual digging into the processing of your thoughts is what will expel clarity. And I welcome you and I invite you to join us here at the Loft, where we are offering conscious entertainment for children and families to enjoy together, to digest their thoughts, to process the information that we're receiving in the world, and to leave it with more clarity than what they came into it. So thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for listening. And as always, welcome to the Loft. We'll see you guys soon.